Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ham Radio Basics Live, Season 4, Episode 19, Ham Radio News and Updates 5/13/2026. Got a good crowd in the house already. Cooley is here, Waypoint, New England. Yes, I am on time, my friend. I did make it on time. Age, I don't know. I don't have any I was knee-deep in some other stuff for work, and then my alarm went off on my phone saying, Ham Radio Basics starts at 5 o'clock, and it was 10 after 5. So go figure that. Hey, Chris, how are you? Good to see you, too. Thank you for stopping by. Tonight's one of my favorite episodes because in some form or another, I do a Hamvention preview kind of video and want to take a little different twist on it this year, looking in terms of not only I'm going to provide you with some top 10 tips, and then what I'm going to do after that, we're going to go also, and I'm going to add my own flavor to it as well with some of these. And then we're going to go to the map and the layout. And I think this is important because it's one of the things that I learned in order to do Hamvention properly. This is something I would highly recommend that you would do. And we'll get to that when I get to the map here. I don't know if any of you guys are going or not. So if you are, just drop it in the chat. That would be great. Also, those of you, thank you for watching on Bill the Technology Reviewer and also on Ham Radio Basics on X. If you want to join the conversation, hit the link on the YouTube video. It should be pinned out on X. If you want to join the conversation, we'd love to have you. So without any further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. Oh, Cooley, awesome. I know you live in Indiana, Cooley, and I figure it's probably not a long jaunt for you. Well, I used to live in Columbus, so it was like, and where it is, and it's technically in Xenia, Ohio. That's about a stone's throw away from where both of my older children went to college. So I'm very familiar with that area. I know it really, really well. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll get started here. Let's kind of dive into this here. All right. All right. Top 10 tips for attending Hamvention. A practical guide for making the most of the big ham show. All right. So let's move on here. Okay. You know, it's always good to buy your ticket early and register ahead of time. And you get it. Now, the time that we went, I bought the ticket, but it wasn't in time to have it mailed. So I had to pick it up there, which is, it ended up being more of a pain in the butt, and I'll explain that reason why here in a minute. It's also good to have some kind of a lanyard with you, so you can insert that ticket in there. And it's good for all days. I mean, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's would be a good thing, a good suggestion. I have Ham Radio Basics lanyards, like nobody's business, and I'm probably going to be putting some more giveaways together, But yeah, that's one of the things I would recommend is having some kind of a plastic lanyard so you can stick that ticket in there and not have to worry about that. Now, number 2, and there's going to be some caveats. I'm going to throw this here. Arrive early. I can't say this enough. All right, when you're going to Hamvention, you want to arrive early, and in kind of in line with that is you want to try to stay in the local area. What I did, and I thought we'd try to save a little bit of money. We stayed on the western side of Columbus, Ohio, which is fine, but it's 45 minutes away. And, it dawned on me when we were halfway there and it was like 9 o'clock and I'm like, we're not there. I'm like, yeah. So you want to find a place. Obviously, you've already made plans. If you're staying in the area, you want to stay in the area. You want to stay in the Xenia area or in the Dayton area, something that's really close, probably no more than 10 or 15 minutes. Is what I would suggest. First shot at flea market finds, popular vendor booths get busy fast. And it's true. Those are both very true. But this is another tip, and it's not listed here. There's a shuttle, which is really a school bus, that runs from Xenia High School over to Hamvention. Take that. Okay. We did. And by the time we got there, and it was a little after 9, probably 9:30 or so, there was only a handful of parking spots left. I mean, really, we were very fortunate and very lucky to find a parking spot. So, but do that and you'll save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of hassle. You definitely want to get there on time. You definitely want to park in that shuttle lot. It's really, high school is very super easy to find, and it's only a few minutes away from where Hand Mention is. So, and I'll tell you that reason why here as well. If you park on the grounds there, and I'm going to show that to you on the map, all right? If the weather's been fine, that's no big deal. But if it's been raining, okay, it is literally a quagmire. And I can tell you this, that if you're going and if you pack, you want to pack some hiking boots. And I'm not talking about Nikes or New Balance, okay? You want to pack some like LL Beans or boots that you would wear, say, during wintertime, because when it gets muddy there, it gets really muddy and it gets all over the place. And the year we went, it had rained right before we got there. In fact, on our way there, it rained. And you want to be prepared for that. We had, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I wasn't prepared. I mean, my shoes were caked with mud. I mean, it's everywhere. Even though, the grounds are paved and everything, like when you go over to the flea market and the vendor booth areas and stuff, those aren't paved. Those are grass. It's a quagmire over there. So just to kind of give you a heads up and let you know that. All right. Plan your must-see booths. And this is something I definitely recommend that you do is, under number 3, make a short vendor list before you go. I can't say that enough. And I'm going to show you where the big vendor areas are as well, too. So so you can kind of have a feel of where to go and what to do. Prioritize radios, antennas, accessories, and parts. Hit your top stops first. And okay, with the must-see booths, you're obviously thinking about purchasing things. Now, we flew to Dayton, all right? And a lot of times what DX Engineering, HRO, and Gigaparts will do, and correct me if I'm mistaken, anybody out there, what they'll do is they'll ship it to your address for you, all right? So you don't have to lug it around. But I've seen people lugging around an ICOM IC7300 in a box all day, all right, around. I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Okay. I can't say that enough. It just boggles my mind. So I see people, I said, oh, okay, that's nice. I kind of wanted to brag a little bit. You got a nice rig, and that's fine. And that's understandable, but have it shipped to you. Don't carry it around, or if your car's there, you probably want to go back to your car, and the shuttles run all the time. So you could on the shuttle, take it back to your car, and then run the shuttle back if you want to do something like that. That's fine. So, and then hit your top stops first. I would definitely do that. And one of the other pieces of advice I'm going to offer as well, ICOM's coming out with a new radio this year. All right. The gambit, the field's wide open. Is it a revamped 7100? Is it just UHF, VHF mobile for the car? There's all kind of rumors and everything about that. But you want to avoid ICOM when they do that, okay? I mean, there's going to be such a huge crowd there, and there's going to be, of course, everybody's going to want to talk to Ray Novak. Just give us some time and space. After the announcement comes out, you're going to find out about it. And like I said, avoid that area when that's happening. I can't emphasize that enough, because it's just going to be crowded, congested. You probably won't get to see or hear much of anything there. So, okay. Number 4, wear comfortable shoes. That's a must, okay? I had my New Balances on, and they did absolutely fine for the day, although they got, like I said, they got caked with mud. You'll cover indoor and outdoor areas. Comfort matters more than style. Absolutely. I wouldn't be wearing, if the women folk are going, I wouldn't be wearing heels or anything like that. You want to wear some Nikes or New Balances or Keds or something that is super comfortable. You're not dressing for fashion here. Okay. You're dressing for comfort. So, and again, that's recommended. And also too, if you're traveling by car there, this is something I would highly recommend, is having those boots, having a pair of boots in your car in case it's pouring down rain and has been raining. You're going to need that. You absolutely, positively are going to need something like that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next two. Pack for changing weather. Ohio, changing weather. I think Cooley can know. Cooley knows because Indiana's like this too. It'll change on the drop of a hat. Bring sunscreen, a hat, light rain gear, and an umbrella. I would recommend that too. Outdoor flea market means changing conditions. Yeah, it does. A small water bottle helps too. And this is something I would definitely recommend. Bring at least maybe because it was Valerie and I think we brought 2 water bottles apiece for us in there. And then also I would put in some very light snacks, some maybe like some of those snack pack of Fritos or the Lance crackers or something or other. Because, and this is going to go in line with the next one here. All right. With the food vendors there, some of those lines, if you're going to, you'll be in line at least 45 minutes, if not an hour. So, plan on that, plan accordingly, because if you want to have something to eat, if you're hungry, obviously eat a breakfast before you go or a meal before you go. That way it can kind of pretty much carry you through the day when you have these snacks on hand, like these Lance crackers and water on hand. Now, the only place we really stopped was I got us 2 lemonades, which cost us like about $20, which is it's like fair food kind of deal and prices and everything here. Now, number 6, bring cash and cards. Many vendors take cards, obviously, like the big 3, like HRO and Gigaparts and DX Engineering will take cards. I'm sure other ones do as well too. But I think cash is king in the flea market. So if you're looking for something and have your heart set on something, you want to take enough cash with you, because I don't know about ATM situation there. I think there may be one, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Small bills help with quick deals. Yeah. You probably want to bring maybe like 10 $1 bills, some 5s, obviously several 20s. If you're planning on purchasing some gear, and be prepared for that. Now, I'm not sure. I know in some, I'm pretty sure at Huntsville, they have an area where you can test used equipment. I don't know if they have that here at Hamvention. I'm not that familiar. I like going to the flea market and looking at things. I don't buy things there. Okay. I just don't. For me, I've always had bad luck with getting used items. That's just the way it's been for me. So for me, I take a hard pass on that. It's just for me. But obviously, if I find something like if I find something vintage, new in a box, it hasn't been open for years, I would consider something like that. But most of that stuff that's been used, you don't know. You don't know the history of that. I mean, you hear what the owner says or the person's trying to sell it says, but you don't even know. And they may be second to it as well. They may not be first owner on that. So, but yeah, and that's why it's important to bring cash. If you're a flea market kind of person, if you want to look at that, it's really go. But most of the vendors will take cards. I don't think you'll have a problem with that as far as that's concerned. So, all right, inspect used gear carefully. Check the display knobs, connectors, accessories. Ask if it powers on. Know the going price before you buy. That's a real important one. The last point there, number 7, know the going price before you buy. If you're going out there and you're buying a used Yaesu, something or other, know how much that's going for out on eBay. Have an idea in mind. In fact, stand there, back up, and have your phone and get out there and take a look and see. It really kind of helps to know what the going rate for that is, because they may be charging you $200 or $300 over than that. But some may be charging you $200 or $300. And if they're doing that, there may be something wrong with that. So, be very leery. It's, the old caveat emptor, buyer beware kind of a thing here. That's something I would highly recommend in an instance like this, because like I said, you really don't know the history of this. If it looks good, usually gear that really looks good, I mean, is a very rough rule of thumb. Chances are pretty good that owner took good care of it cosmetically. And usually if it's been taken good care of cosmetically, it probably is working fairly well. So number 8, it's always optional, but if you have time, attend at least one forum. And, some of the people that they have, I know Yaesu at Hamcation, John Kruk was teaching some of these classes. And I mean, if you've ever listened to John Kruk with Jason from Ham Radio 2.0, God, I could sit there and listen to that man for hours. The guy is just phenomenal. Hey, Alan Ray, welcome. Thanks for stopping by today. So that's awesome. That's awesome. James, welcome. Thank you for stopping by as well, too. Yeah, you have an opportunity to learn from somebody like John Kruk, and who wouldn't want to listen to him for a couple hours, okay? Topics may include antennas, digital modes, emergency communications. It's one of the best parts of the show. I know ICOM has been advertising a class for D-Star that they have there. And if you're a seasoned ham and you don't know D-Star and you'd like to explore it and get into it, I think today's the last day to register for that. Go to ICOM's page out on Facebook or out on X on Twitter and register for that. You'll be glad you did. I think you'll learn a lot, and I think it'll be very beneficial for you as well. And let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. Okay. Carry a backpack or tote. I mean, this is a must. You got to. You'll probably be picking up some catalogs, have some accessories like antennas and whatnot, and some gear. And it keeps your hands free while browsing. And don't overload yourself too early. And those are all very valid points, because you're going to be there probably most of the day. All right. For me, when I go to Hamvention, it's a one-day affair. I'm not going to come back the next day. All right. I'm going to be there. I'm going to get there as early as I can, and I'm going to stay as long as I can. I'm going to try to hit all the vendor booths that I really want to hit. Now, you're not going to hit every vendor booth unless you go maybe 3 days. Okay. That's probably the long and the short of it. Or you go at a time when it's not busy. But carrying that backpack or tote, you got to realize you're going to be carrying that all day long. Okay. And the more that you have in there, the heavier it weighs, and the longer the day goes, you're going to want to make sure it's going to stay on the lighter side. So that's something I would definitely say. And it really does keep your hands free. And when you're browsing, it's very nice. It's convenient. You're not carrying a bunch of bags or anything like that. So, set a budget. Great deals can tempt you fast. Decide your spending limit before you arrive. Leave a little room for surprise finds. Those are all very valid points on this. First thing you walk up to in the flea market, boom, it's like, yeah, it grabs your eye. You didn't know it was available. It was available, and it was a good price. So you go ahead and buy it, and then oops, you've spent your budget and you don't have any additional cash for that, because the vendor area in the flea market area, it's probably going to be 100% cash for that. So be careful. I would plan for more rather than less. If you can take more money with you, the better. If you're a real flea market kind of person and you're looking to buy things, also ask too. And I don't know if some of them that will do that, those that are set up for the flea market, will ship maybe for an additional $25-$50 that they'll ship the item for you as well too. You can always ask about something like that, especially if you're flying. Okay. I'm not good. And see, that's why when I go to something like this, I'm flying. I would inquire about, would you be able to ship that? No, then, that doesn't work. That won't work for me. So, but a lot of times I found instances where, there's some back and forth and some negotiation concern. I'll give you $50 to ship deal. Okay. We'll go ahead and do that. Decide your spending limit before you arrive. And that's true. You really do need to set yourself a hard and firm limit there, because, it'd be like a kid in a candy store and you could just go nuts. And more often than not, that ends up happening. So, and leave a little room for surprise finds. Plan extra with that budget. Throw some extra money in there. You may find a gem. You may find a Yaesu or an ICOM in a box that's been sealed for several years, brand new, and it's like a super find, and they have it at a good price. So that would definitely be something that I would recommend. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take a look. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this, and we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put the map up, and I think this is important to go over this as well too, because in a lot of instances, people aren't as let's see, where is that? Okay, I thought I had the map up. All right, I'm going to bring the map up here. So hang on, guys. I got to go ahead and grab that map. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the map here. Let me see if I can grab that. And I have that. And let's get that up here. Okay. And this was good. I am real happy that I did this, and I think you guys will enjoy this too, because it really kind of helps lend a perspective on things here. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Okay. All right. This is the entrance right here, and these are all the parking lots are. You don't want to park there. Okay. I can't emphasize that enough. Even on nice days, okay, it's kind of hilly. It has some terrain to it, believe it or not, even though I know Ohio's flat. I've lived there most of my life. It's kind of on the hilly side. And also, too, if it's rained, okay, it's going to be a quagmire in there, okay? When we went, there were tow trucks. When we were leaving for the day, there were tow trucks that had to go there and get cars out because they were stuck in the mud. Seriously, I recommend 100% parking at the high school and taking a shuttle over. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay. You can see the entrance is right here. Now over here, where I don't know if my cursor is doing it's not coming up on the screen there. Okay. All right. But over, let's see, the entrance is right up here. Over here, there are some trailers that are set up. And if you did a will call to get your tickets, that's where you will get your tickets, will be over there. And what I suggest, and this is something, and this is just me, all right, after having been there and getting the lay of the land, all right, everybody wants to run up to go to E1, E2, and E3. They're the main exhibit halls, all right. My suggestion is first is, especially if you're a flea market kind of person, and also too, if you're not, just to go ahead and see. Yeah, James, I think you're right as far as that's concerned. So yeah, you're probably looking more towards like about $50. So okay. All right. What you want to do is go over to the right where FF is, and FF is where it says front lot right there. But that's going to go ahead and start where the flea market is. Okay, the front lot, west infield, east infield, grandstand. Under it says flea market. FF, FW, FE, FG. It goes all the way over here. Okay, into where evidently they maybe have horse track racing or something there. I don't know, or other events. But it starts here. Starts where FF, and then you keep on going down. What I would recommend first would be, instead of going to the main halls, and if you're a flea market kind of person, which we are, we only did about half the flea markets. We didn't walk down there when we went. A lot of people said it was just like super muddy, and I'm like, no. There was some pavement right here, so we were able to take a look at several of the vendors that were set up right here for the flea market down in the FF area. And then what we did was we walked back behind things. Okay. Now in the center where you see the black part, this core right here. Okay. My cursor's coming up now. Yay. Where you see the core right here, these are not really exhibit halls. All right. You can see F1 and F2 right here. These are forums are over there. F3 and F4. There's F3 and there's E4. I don't know where F4 is. Okay, F4 is over here. Those are forums right there. There's first aid. There's restrooms right here. There's plenty of restrooms there, by the way. So what I would do would be if you want to go for all the if you want to go to all the flea markets, you want to walk all the way down here, and you'll probably go here depending upon the weather. If it hasn't rained, I think you'll be good. So you can go ahead and check the flea markets that are out there. Then walk behind the building. And then what we did was we snaked our way. We went into E3, and there's actually a little a door and a walkway over to the next building, and went in there. And then we went in the next one there. That's kind of how we strategized it. And I think it worked really well. I think it really kind of lend itself to making our day really, really, really good. What we did first, and we didn't know, we walked about halfway down here, see where the cursor is. Then we went down here and then found the flea markets. I said, oh, there's the flea markets down there. And then we walked, we hit about, we hit a pretty good portion of that. And then we went behind everything. And then in the middle, and then we hit E3, E2, and E1. Now, right here is where my cursor is, or where a lot of the vendors are, or a lot of the food vendors are, okay? And like I said, a couple of tips: be prepared to wait 45 minutes to an hour in line there. I can't emphasize that enough. So you probably want to bring some snacks like I suggested. And number two, you're going to pay. A hamburger and fries and a Coke are probably going to set you back about $25 or more, okay? Because it's fair food, and that's exactly what that is. So, but the restrooms are plentiful, and they have them right up by, you can see right here, they're right up by all the buildings, E1, E2, and E3. There's no problem with lines in the restrooms. They're not crowded at all. Also, too, if you have mobility issues, they have a place, I think they have scooter rental there available. It's at the entrance. Also, when we went, they had Boy Scouts making lanyards there, obviously for a donation to the Boy Scouts. But that was right up front as you were going into the entrance right there. So if you want to participate in that, yeah. So, oh, that's good, James. That's really good. I mean, like I said, if I was living there, I would be knocking down on the door there. So, but that's kind of the layout of things right there. And the shuttles, when you're done, okay, you just would leave the entrance and go out this way, and then towards this area right here, it doesn't really show, but it's kind of like over off the map right here in this area is where the shuttles are, and they line up. The buses come one after another, and the only I believe the only shuttle is to the high school there. So it worked really, really well. Although I was really surprised when it had been the first time I had been on a school bus since high school. All right. Yeah. It's been just a tad, just a little bit. And I wasn't prepared how high it was to get up into the bus. I was like, my gosh, it's like, where's your ladder to climb up in here? I mean, it was just, yeah. And for older adults, you got to be careful. You got to know what it's like getting up in there and holding on to the railings. And you really got to hold on to the railings as far as that's concerned. So I hope this helped you. I hope it provided some tips for going to Hamvention. I tried to, pick my brain as I was doing this. And I really enjoy doing these episodes. It's a fun time. I enjoy going there. It's not something I would go to year in and year out for me. And it's probably the same for Hamcation as well, too. I'm going to try to get to Hamcation next year. Hamcation, obviously, it's a little over an hour for me to get there in Orlando. So that's something that I definitely will try to get on my radar next year. Work just got absolutely insane, and I've been slammed. But when I hit the retirement button and my better half hits the retirement button, we're going to do these things. Okay. Obviously, going up to Ohio for us, it has a fringe benefit. My granddaughters and my daughter and son-in-law and my two sons are in the Columbus area. So, it's obviously, that's kind of a no-brainer for us to do that. So hope you guys have a great day today. And for those of you going, safe travels, have fun. Let us know, Cooley, if you get anything, let us know when we convene next week. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. As always, guys, remember, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 3s, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.